Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. On today's video we are talking only about makeup brushes. I love my brushes. I have a lot of brushes because I have been starting to collect them from several years. And yeah, now I have come into a point that I almost don't have space where to keep them. So this video I haven't planned from a long time to do it, and now I finally managed to sit down and talk about my brushes. In the beginning, I would like to make a disclaimer. I don't use all of my brushes for their meant purpose. For example, I have blush brushes that I use for contour, or I have highlighting brushes that I use for setting my under eye area, or whatever. Don't think that brushes are something that you need to use them straight up. They are just some tools, and they are made to help you, not to force you by any means to use them in certain occasions. So be creative and use them in the way that you feel more comfortable with. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you in advance if you do so. Because I have a lot of brushes, I don't want to spend much time, and I will start with the order that I usually apply my makeup. And first are the foundation brushes. I have three favorite foundation brushes. First is the Sigma F80 Kabuki brush, which is one of my go-to brushes every time I need to apply the foundation. This brush, I use it for cream to liquid foundations. Then I have this Zoeva 103 definer brush, which is a bit on a angle, and this is even more comfortable to pack your foundation. I really love this brush. I have it from many years. This is one of my first brushes, and this is for sure my first foundation brush. Now even Zoeva is coming out with a foundation, and I think they have a new brush for that, is their brush 104. And the third brush is my favorite foundation brush. This is by BH Cosmetics number 137. I got it in a set. Sadly, I don't think so that it is available. I will try to search it for you, and if I find it, I will put it on the description box. And by the way, all the brushes that I speak today about will be linked down below. But this is my perfect brush. It is short, but not too short. I have another brush which is, in my opinion, too short and is a bit uncomfortable to use it, and is a bit, I don't know the word in English, but you see that is not straight, yeah? And for this reason it has the perfect shape for applying your foundation, and even you can go in your more narrow parts of your face, like your eyes, your nose. Yeah, so this is my favorite foundation brush. Speaking about foundation, I really love this brush. This is by Bare Minerals Full Flawless Face Brush. It came in a set together with this brush, which is for face contour. The name of the set is Starting Kit Contour Face or So. I will link it down below, or I will put a picture in case that this is not available, because I have this brush for many years, and this is working only with powder foundation. So don't try to apply your powder foundation with this kind of brush, even with more fluffy brush like the one that you're using for contour or for setting your powder, because it's not working. This is the perfect texture. The texture is important. It is soft, but on the same time the bristles are, I don't know what foam is made of, but this is the favorite and the single brush that I use to apply the powder foundation, which it happens also to be from Bare Minerals. I don't have any other powder foundation in my collection. For my face powder, I love this brush from E.L.F. It's their pointed powder brush. It's really soft and picks the right amount of setting powder to set your foundation. I also love this BH Cosmetics number 124, which probably came on the same set with this one, with the foundation brush. This is a bit smaller as the E.L.F. one it is, and sometimes I use it even for the bronzer or for blush. My go-to blush brush is without any doubt the Real Techniques blush brush. This is also one of my oldest brushes that I have in my collection, and the shape, the quality, it didn't change. I plan to buy at least one more because I'm afraid that they might discontinue this brush, because this is something which I cannot live without. So if I will have to have only 5 brushes in my life, this will be one of them. Few years ago there was a big rave in the beauty community about this Kumadori brush. NARS came up first with this kind of brush, and to be honest, I bought it because of the shape. Mine is from Japanesque, and I'm not sure, it might be the most expensive brush that I have in my collection. It's not as good as the Real Techniques one it is, but I just love it. It's unique, it's really pretty, and it does a decent job. Okay, I know that we are speaking about favorite brushes, but I want to tell you that I'm disappointed by this brush from Zoeva. This is their 101 Luxe face brush, and this was quite expensive. First of all, I don't like the fact that it is losing its shape, and also its shading. I have it also from 2-3 years, and after the first wash it started to shade. So this is one of my disappointing brushes, and I'm most disappointed because I have it from Zoeva, which is one of my favorite brush brand. My favorite contour brush is without any doubt this Body and Soul brush. I have 2 of them. One of them is old. I don't know exactly which one. It might be this one, but you can tell from the shape which one is newer and which one is older. Those are meant to be blush brushes. However, I use them for contour. I find they are a bit more helpful for me on this matter, because I like to have this pointed tip up here, and I feel that it's helping to contour my cheekbone a bit better. I use this Real Techniques sculpting brush mostly for the contour, for the cream contour products, and I even use it for foundation because it's dense. I also love this Zoeva 109 Luxe Face Paint brush, which is exactly like a paint brush. And this you can use it to define, to have a sharper line on your cheekbones. I don't use it so often nowadays, but I used to use it a while ago. Tati, I think, she's loving this brush, but I have it way back before she even had it on her collection. To set my concealer, I use the BH Cosmetics 125 brush. This is my go-to brush because it's long, soft, it's conic. So this is, I think it's named tapered in English, and does a perfect job. It's really soft. And also, before, I used this Real Techniques contour brush also for this purpose. I rarely use this brush for contour. I might use it for highlighter, but most of the time this brush was used for setting the under eye area. I also have two bigger brushes that I want to show you. Both are from Real Techniques. First is the powder brush. It is a bit dirty because I used it today. I couldn't keep all the brushes clean. Some of them need to be used on my makeup routine. So this is the face powder, and I think this is the biggest brush from my collection. So you can have a look comparing with the E.L.F. one. And this is also by Real Techniques. This was a special edition, a limited edition, and this is meant for bronzer. I love this brush, and I use it with products that are in a big pan, like it was the E.L.F. one, and does a good job. It will it will dress your face in a nice veil of bronzer. Okay, we finished with the bigger brushes. Now let's stick with the more medium one. I have a brush that is sister with the foundation brush from Real Techniques. Those have the same shape. Just one is a slightly smaller, and this one I really love to apply the concealer. Even though, to be honest, I prefer to apply my concealer with a beauty blender. I don't use brush so often to tap my concealer, but if I use a brush, I prefer either using the BH Cosmetics 138, or this is the newest one that I've bought and I really love it. This is the Body and Soul. It doesn't have any name. I will list it down below because I found it on Mueller website. Then for highlighter, the brush that I mostly use to apply the powder highlighter is the BH Cosmetics 140, which is this fluffy brush. I also use the Real Techniques fan brush and the Real Techniques setting brush. I have two of these setting brushes. One I usually use it to pat my under eye area, and I think those are all the face brushes. Now let's start with the eyes, and I will start with the crease brushes. So this is some of the blending brushes that I have. They are not all, but I cannot show you all the brushes because we will stay here all week. Why I have so many blending brushes? The reason is that for the past 4 years I was searching for a dupe of this Zoeva 228 crease brush. I think I mentioned this brush in many videos. It is discontinued, and it's one of their first brushes they launched. I bought it 5 years ago from Beauty Bay. This is my perfect crease brush. I use it for blending the shade on the crease area or to define my transition. I think it's better for transition, but I use it on both purposes. And why I love this brush so much is because it has a perfect shape for my eyes. It's not even too tall or too short. It's not too narrow, it's not too fat. Also, the handle is really important. It's not too heavy and it's not too long. It's perfect for my hand. So I have some reasons that I love this brush. And recently I was able to find a dupe, a brush that is almost not identical, but it's coming closer to the one that I love from many years. And this is by Sephora collection. This is one of their new brushes they have brought in their collection, and I will just try it by accident. I went on Sephora and I've seen they have new brushes and I just test it. It is equally high, maybe it's a bit shorter, but it's okay. It's not that fluffy, but this is because this is new, while this is older and has gone through many washes, so that's the reason that is more fluffy. And as a softness they are identical, so I don't feel any difference when I'm blending the shadows either with the Zoeva 228 or the Sephora 09 crease brush, and they are even the same as a length of the barrel. This is a bit thicker, but I don't mind. I find the shape of the Sephora to be even more comfortable because it's a bit thicker on the area where you are supposed to hold it and slimmer in the end. So I finally found a dupe for the Zoeva 228 crease brush, and I have another backup of this brush. I will mention also one of my favorite Sigma brushes. This is their E25 blending brush. This brush, I've used it to do one shadow look. This is perfectly working, and I proved that to you. Even I have a backup for it. I have two of these. And for this brush, I have found that I have two dupes in my collection. First it is the Real Techniques base shadow brush, and the second one, it is my newest acquisition. It is from DM. It is by the brand E.L.F. They are almost identical. Of course, I prefer the Sigma one. Those are my other blending crease type of the brushes. I want to point out some of my favorites as well. I have this E.L.F. blending brush, which is nice. Just the only downside is a bit too long. The BH Cosmetics V5. Of course, the Zoeva crease brush 228. This was the closest dupe for the original 228. Just the only difference is that the fact they are more tapered, while the 228 is almost dome. I love also this brush from Iconic London, this crease brush. My newest acquisition also from Douglas 245 eyeshadow brush. This is so soft. It's a bit softer, but it's also nice. Of course, I have some Zoeva 227 brushes that are even working to pack the shadows on your eyelids, or not only for blending. So I have from Bamboo collection, from Taupe collection, and I have another one, but I don't find it right now. I have another 228 by Zoeva, which looks like this. This is more pointed. I love the Luxe Petite Crease also from Zoeva. I have most of the brushes from the eyes. I think those are only from Zoeva. Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but those are only from Zoeva. And I have even more Zoeva down. 221 Luxe Soft Crease. This is smaller. And 225 Luxe Eye Blender. This I also love it. One brush that I really love is by Freedom. I found it in one of our drugstores, but I'm sad to discover that they are not carrying this brand anymore. This brush, I use it mostly for patting the shadow on my lid. I rarely use it for blending, just because I have so many blending brushes. So yeah, this is really good quality, and I would love to try more of their brushes, but unfortunately they don't carry it anymore. I'm not so rigorous with my shader brush. Sometimes I even use my finger to pack the shadow on my lid, so I'm not so determined to find the perfect brush. But some of my favorites are those two by Zoeva. 232 Classic Shader and 234 Smoky Shader. So they have different sizes, but serve for the same purpose. I have one from Iconic London, one from Sephora. No, this is by Bella Pierre, which I use it also for packing. Sometimes I can use it for concealer or even to cut crease. And this is by BH Cosmetics 103. So this is also nice. I have several brushes from Real Techniques, and they are even Instapop crease brush. They are a bit more in angle. I really prefer those brushes to define my outer corner or to pack shadow here exactly on the outer V, or I use them on my under eye area. For my under eye area, excepting the Instapop ones that I showed you, I love Must Have Smudge brush number 70 from Sephora, the BH Cosmetics number 5, which I recently got, and I have one from Morphe, which I also love, the R43. So I'll just show you a comparison. And of course I love my Real Techniques Precision Smudge brush. I use it either to smudge the shadow under my lower line or for inner corner. And for brows, I don't use too much a gel or powder, but my favorite brushes are by Real Techniques, the brow brush, and this is by Bella Pierre. It's a bit bigger, so those are my go-to. And this is a lip brush from BH Cosmetics. It came in a set. I bought it last year. And this brush, I prefer to use it to define the eyes with a shadow. When I don't want to use a liner, I use a dark shadow. It is dirty because I used it, I think, a few days ago. And I will do my line with this brush. It is perfect as a size and shape and texture to do your liner. I want to say that probably Zoeva and Real Techniques are the brand that are most present on my collection. Maybe BH Cosmetics is starting to make more room, but among all the brands that I have, Real Techniques is the most consistent brand. So I have not found till now a brush from Real Techniques to not have the same quality. So I don't find a brush in my collections, oh, this is by Real Techniques but it's not that good, it's shading or it's losing its shape, or yeah, I don't like it, I prefer to take another one. No, all my Real Techniques brushes are amazing. So if you are on a budget, if you are starting to build your brush collection, go for Real Techniques, because those are, in my opinion, the best brushes. They don't have everything, so I haven't found from them a crease brush. I haven't found something like Zoeva. But if you are not so demanding like I am, I think for most of the people they could find some good brushes to serve all their purposes. Of course, one of the best brands, it is Zoeva. By far I love most of their brushes. I have only one or two that are not exactly on my alley, but I mostly have their eye brushes. I want to try more of their face brushes. They are quite expensive comparing with the eye brushes. They are around the same amount of money like Sigma. And the Sigma brushes, I prefer more the face brushes. I find the blending brushes are not so good. So E40, about everybody was raving that is the best blending crease slash brush. I don't like it. First, it is too long. I'm not able to find the Zoeva crease brush, so I'll show you another 228 Zoeva. So it is too long, and on the place where I store it, sometimes I have problem to pull it out or to put it in. It is a bit too tall, too fluffy, and also it is too plasticky, too synthetical. Sometimes when I dip it in a more powdery shadows, I feel that it makes a mess around. It is similar with the quality of the brushes that Anastasia puts on her eyeshadow palettes. Many people are loving those brushes. For me, those are a bit too stiff, too plasticky. So okay, don't quote me on that. What is working for you, it is your favorite. what is working for me is my favorite, yeah? We cannot argue with that. This is all, of course, those are not all my brushes, and I would like to ask you if you want me to do a video to show you how I clean my brushes, how I dry my brushes, and how I store them, because I have some interesting system on storing my brushes and rotating their usage on my routine. If you enjoyed this video, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends in case you have some friends who would like to see or to get information about getting new brushes or building up their collection. I hope I could share you some useful informations. I will put on the screen other videos that I will recommend you to check, and in case you love this video and you like to see more of me, just subscribe, and I would like to thank you in advance if you do so. Other than that, I wish you to have a great and blessed day ahead, and I will see you on my next video.